Thank you all for coming. My name is Mirea, and I am the CEO and co-founder of BIM. Today, I'm here with Leandro, who is our head of education technology and main creator of our amazing curriculum. Before digging into the topic of our meeting today, so basically why it's a good time for you to change your career if you're thinking about it, and why tech could be a good path. I'm just gonna take 1 minute to do a brief introduction of our school. We are currently working with companies and helping them to retrain their employees, but now we are also extending our offer, and we have developed a 12-month course on web development. It's going to be online, fully sponsored by the Agentur for Arbeit, and with a hands-on approach. So at the end of the course, you're going to have 4 or 5 different projects that you can show to potential employees. Our teachers are all experienced teachers that have experience as web developer, but also pedagogical experience. So it's really a good combination, because sometimes you can be very skilled technically, but if you don't know how to communicate properly, that's also an issue. And finally, we can also provide you a laptop. You can keep it at the end of the course. If you want to improve your German, you can do that with us as well. And we offer you mentoring guidance for the duration of the course. But now let's go into the topic and the reason why you're here. So in the past, I guess it happened to a lot of people. Definitely it happened as well to me and Leandro, that we were stuck in jobs that we didn't like for a number of reasons. One reason, like a first a good sign, is that maybe you spend a lot of the time that you're supposed to spend working just thinking about something else. So this definitely lowers your productivity. And this is not good for your employer, but also and especially for you, because if you are constantly thinking of what I could do, or like I will definitely never choose this career path again, this is a sign that maybe you should consider changing your job path. Or maybe you discuss this often with friends, how good it will be to do something else, to basically just to try at least something more exciting. And this brings us to second point, which is very common. And again, speaking, for example, of personal experiences, in my previous task, I always felt really stuck with my job. I felt that I was not really growing, and that there was no chances for me to have, do a career, or at least use my brain. Like I was talking the other day with a web developer, and he was telling me that the best part of his job is the fact that he has to use his brain a lot every day. So this is definitely something challenging, and also very good for the future and for let's say growing old in a way. And this is a bit connected, but it's different, and it's the lack of trust in your company. Of course, it's not always the case. Sometimes you can be in a very nice company and just have a monotonous job, or a job that's not really inspiring you. But some other times, maybe you really like your job, but you are in a very bad environment. Like psychologists talk very often about this Sunday night fear. So the fact that it's the end of the week, and you thinking, oh, tomorrow you have to go to work, and you really feel stuck and sad in a way. You're stressed. Your body is telling you that you really don't want to do that. You have maybe back pain is very common, or like headache. These are all signs, and of course can happen sometimes, maybe when you have a difficult project, but it shouldn't be the norm. If that's the norm, this could be really a good sign, or a good reason to maybe look for something else. Finally, well, fourth sign, and not yet finally, but it's you are there basically because you need a job. And I mean, unless some people are lucky and they don't need to work, but most of the people need to work to live. So it could be that maybe you feel stuck in your job because you have to support your family, you have to support yourself. So of course, this is like a good reason to stay in a bad job, unfortunately, if there are no chances. But if this is the only reason, maybe it's you should consider if it's worth it, or if you can find a solution. Like in Germany, for example, you can get courses sponsored, so this maybe could be some help for you. And finally, you came to this presentation, so maybe this is something that you are seriously considering. So if you know in your gut that you identify with one of the previous reasons that I mentioned, or maybe you have other reasons. These were just, of course, some examples. There could be many more, and each situation is specific and is particular. So but if you are thinking about it, if you came to this presentation, or if you want maybe better life balance, these are all great reasons why you should maybe consider a career change. And now Leandro is going to explain you why tech actually could be a good choice.
Yeah. Thank you, Mirea, and thank you everybody to join the speech. The second part will be about the reason why you should choose a career in tech if you haven't done that yet. Yeah? We selected few topics here for a sake of time and so on. There are many more for sure. At least I had for the last part of my life, for the last 20 years involved in tech. What we present here is, for sake of time, what we should consider about. First, it's also related with something Mirea already mentioned, is the fact that compared to other sector, other market, job in tech are paid well proportionally. There are many statistics, data that you can check around outside the slides. We overviewed here a couple of points. What is relevant is that many of these numbers are average. What you're checking is an average number for the full stack position, backend and front end. What is common to all these roles is that the salary is increasing exponentially while you gain experience and you move through your career. Another point is already partially been mentioned from Mirea. You're never tired to learn in tech. Yeah? The technology we use, when I started 20 years ago, we were not using the same tool, languages and technologies in general we are using right now. It's a very dynamic ecosystem where things change. Can be stressful sometimes to keep the pace of the transformation of the technology we use, but it's also a motivation. You never get tired because you continue changing what you use and what you deal with on daily basis. Yeah? This is also a great opportunity to grow in a specific skill set. Yeah? If you the longer is your experience, the most your profile will be customized for the topic that hopefully interests you more. Flexibility is obviously a highlight. Everyone knows what happened in the last couple of years. Remote working and a new way of work is a very high topic, and is definitely a motivator to choose a career cross and start working as a developer, for example. Yeah? Most of the time you work in a remote team where your buddies, your colleagues, your team is coming from different cities, where not countries. You can move around and keep doing what you are doing the best. It's also related to the workload, how you distribute your work. Sometimes can be flexible than in other contexts where you work in a specific place, for example. Job security is another very important topic here. There is a huge demand, and there will be a huge demand for technical skill set developer, for instance, in the coming years. Because of the overmentioned topic, the digital transformation that we are experiencing is just started finally, and there will be a huge need of developer and technical staff in the next year. Some projection for the next year, for example, 2023, talk about 700,000 additional tech job just in the German market. We are talking about huge number. Last but not least, it's a common question that we receive. Do I need to have a technical degree in order to start a career as a web developer, for example? My total personal answer is no, absolutely. I don't have one, and I worked for 20 years as a developer. You need to have interest and motivation in learning. Definitely coming from an engineering background will help to fast-paced and scale up your career quickly, but it is not a no-go. What I like to repeat is that we don't need machine that program. We will have soon, or we already have artificial intelligence that can write code. We need people that are passionate, conscious about what they can do, and creative about what they can bring. We are all different, and everyone has his own ability that, connected with a technical skill set, can create magic. I think this was my last topic. We still have some minute. If you have any question about what me or Mirea mentioned, or things we didn't talk about and you want to hear from us. I think there is something in the chat. I think it was
No question.
Bootcamp for beginners, yes, definitely. The web development course that we designed is meant for beginners. You don't need to know any other programming language in order to start. It's part of the training, introduce you from day one what you need to learn in order to progress to the module, through the module of the curriculum. Is totally for beginners. If you have already experience, as I mentioned before, will help. And the landscape, we use a specific stack based on JavaScript as a programming language. If you already have some experience, you can deep dive in many topics, experiment with library, integrate other components that are not necessary in the daily lesson, but can be plugged in, for instance.
We have one question in the Q&A as well, and it's how long will it take to become a web developer?
Well, it very depends. One of the reasons why we decide to structure our training over 12 months is because the more is the best. I mean, you can have a certain topic in a shorter amount of time, but if you have a longer time frame, like 12 months, there is much more possibility to learn more and practice more. That is a core part of our curriculum. As we mentioned before, all people involved with the BIM Institute of Technology have an experience, long-standing experience as developer and as trainer. What we believe is that participants, new developer, people approaching programming for the first time, need a good balance between theory and practice. And in order to practice more time is definitely needed.
I see that we have finished our time. I see there is one more question, a couple of more questions. Maybe if you have time and you want to come to our booth, that could be an option. So we discuss. I see, for example, Sadiq question. Maybe we need a few more details actually to give you an answer about that. And
definitely technical question we can answer in the booth about age. No limit. I mean, I met people learning programming in their 50 and they succeed.
Yeah, but again, I also, Luis, if you want to join or have a bit longer answer to your question, just feel free to come to our booth. We don't want to take time from the people next to after us for their presentation. Thank you all again. If you have any question, just join in the booth, or you can also reach out to us by email. I'm gonna write my email in the chat. Yeah, so great. Thank you very much. And we hope that you are enjoying the event and have a great continuation.
Bye.